now there's people on the line, Joe. So hold off.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Start over, Joe.
Okay. In order to understand all of the criminal actions, how they did this, they stole our rights, is that they had to remove the 6th article of the Bill of Rights. And the reason why that is that we have a prosecuting attorney there in place. The prosecuting attorney, he does not belong under the articles of the Bill of Rights. He's violating the law right there. He's violating the people's rights. And he swore and took an oath to serve the people. And this is why those people, paying the people in prison the right to the due process of law, like it says in the 5th article of the Bill of Rights. When you say the 5th Amendment, bastards incorporated the 5th article of the Bill of Rights into the 14th Amendment, and now if you read the 14th Amendment and compare it with Article 5, they are not the same. Absolutely not the same. When you say amendment, because there is no such a thing as an amendment, a 5th Amendment, that's why you get put under the 14th Amendment and they process you. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. They took the 4th article, probable cause, from the 4th article of the Bill of Rights and the 5th article and incorporated it into the 14th Amendment, and that's what you're getting. You're getting that. And what I explained to Owens before was that at the beginning of the ratification of the United States Constitution, 1791, from 1791 to 1795, we were free. But after 1795, if you read the case of Chisholm versus Georgia, what the Judicial Department did in that case, they turned around and they ratified the 11th Amendment. The 11th Amendment was rejected in 1790. It was rejected because it was in conflict with Article 3, Section 2. And today, it is still in conflict with that. The Founding Fathers rejected 11 and 12. So they told us that from the first one all the way to the 10th article of the Bill of Rights, they were amendment. They are not amendment. Because this is what I would like you to think. I've been a general contractor for a long time. When I went to somebody's place, to a home, a resident, and on a roof or a job on their homes,
okay,
I would give them a proposal. I would write out a proposal, and I would just set it on the table and say, look, here's what I'm going to do for this amount of money. Now, I said, if you want to accept this contract, this proposal, you just sign it. And that turns into a contract, and therefore you just follow the rules of this contract, and we'll be okay, and I'll do the work. Would you believe that people got deceived thinking that that's an amendment? It didn't amend nothing. What does the U.S. Constitution consist of, Tom? What does it consist of?
Thomas?
Do you know what it consists of? It consists of 7 Articles of Confederation and 10 Articles of the Bill of Rights. Those are our rights.
What the Constitution, let me tell you what the Constitution, this is Patrick. I'll tell you what the Constitution consists of. The Constitution consists of the marching orders for the public corporate government, okay? The We the People Republic is found, and our protections are found in the Articles of Confederation. Now, let me tell you, how do you use your name?
I use my name any way I choose to use it.
Okay, let me tell you something right now, okay? You are in the public realm out here right now.
Right.
When you deal with the public, you have to be in the public realm. But you are supposed to be standing as a republic officer, not a public officer. A public officer is a constitutional officer for the government. A republic officer is one that is an officer per the Articles of Confederation. Now, a republic officer stands higher than a public officer because the republic officers are the ones that elect the public governmental corporate officers. You, in the private, can use your name any way you want to. But when you're dealing in the public, you have to come from your office. And that's the state of Iowa, in my case, the state of Iowa, Iowa Republic office as elector. I elect to do things. And basically in the Constitution, you will find the definition of an elector basically has to meet the same qualifications as a House of Representatives. And that means that they have to be under no bondage. A House of Representatives person cannot represent another person if they're in bondage. That's why no women can be in the de jure government, because a woman is always in bondage, either to her father, to her dead husband, or to her husband, or to her dead husband. And that follows to the letter the book of Ruth. And all of this Constitution and the Articles of Confederation and everything were founded upon the Bible. When you understand what's going on. Now, yes. You come in and you can be Mr., in my case, Mr. Patrick Devine, as I am the incumbent of the office. But it is the office that carries the weight. And see, a public office cannot come and put a claim against a republic officer. People don't understand what the Constitution and what the Articles of Confederation in this country really did. A lot of them, even when they signed the thing, didn't fully understand it. And they argued about it back and forth.
Look,
but there were powers to be that basically tried to implement and give the protection to the people if they got the proper understanding.
Okay.
Okay? So, you have to confess, and basically a confession is an admission that you screwed up. By signing these contracts, the certificate of live birth, and they tried to take that as a will. I sent Tom 13 pages of word definitions that I pulled out, and I tried to highlight some of them.
Yeah.
It's in the words that you need to understand. And then you take those words and you put them together in the proper retrospect to get what you want, to provide. And see, they have tried to come in. You were complaining about the articles and stuff. Well, they do that by implied abbreviation. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Well,
the repeal of a law, an avoidance, or an annulment. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Avoidance, nullifying, rendering void. And see, that's what they've tried to do. They try and render these laws as void. Also, in one of the definitions there, if I can find it real quick here, it talks about, like in court action, that you are barred from an action in a court because you cannot come in there and tell the truth. Here it is. Estoppel. A bar which stoppeth a person or closes up his mouth to allege or plead what actually may be the truth. That's what an estoppel is. And that's what the bar is. A bar. That's a bar court that you're going into. So basically they have already put an estoppel against you. They don't want to hear the truth in that court because it's a banking court. It's a charging court, and basically you have to come in there and surrender the contract to them. The driver's license, the certificate of title to the vehicle, the mortgage. You surrender it to the court. Now the court is the trustee over that account, and they have to bring it to settlement. See, that's what people totally get wrong. All of these $300 penalty envelopes that we've gotten, okay, out here, we were led to believe that we were supposed to be getting $300 out of those because they were coming into our private area. No, it was because we were using our private name in the public realm. So they were penalizing us because if you're using your private name in the public realm, you are treated as a privateer, a pirate. You're trying to raid the public realm.
Obviously, they're trying to get their name and put it on our shoulders. They're the pirates, if anybody's a pirate. But
yes, they are. But you have to understand so that you can come take them down. But you can't be in the private. Your private affairs you keep private. You don't put them out into the public. Okay? But when you deal with these guys, you have to be operating in the public realm, but you are a republic officer that stands over them.
Yeah.
Because if you are an elector, and if you're over the age of 25, okay, and you have surrendered all of your items and done a confession, an admission that you basically messed up, and that you are surrendering all of those commercial usury items, they have to forgive you. And they have to take them and clean them up. And that goes to the Attorney General because the Attorney General is over all aliens. And see, all of these contracts that we got into, the Social Security, the usage of the DD-214, the Certificate of Live Birth, the Certificate of Title, those were registered alienation documents. Your passport.
I can understand what you're saying, but the only trouble is that let's take the scenario where when I got pulled over. When I got pulled over, a policeman would come up and he'd say, "Could I see your registration, your driver's license, and proof of insurance?" I say, "No, you can't." And he'd look at me, surprised that I would say something like that. And he says,
yeah,
well,
because what did you just do? You just told him you had a driver's license, but you weren't going to show it to him.
That's right. I did.
Yeah.
I refused to do that.
No. You have to give it to him if you have one.
Well, wait a minute. No.
No, you listen, okay? You better know the damn law. think you know the law, but you don't know the law. Okay? Well, if you're operating in their system, okay, you have to comply to their rules and regulations. You have to surrender those items, then you come out of their system. And then you stand as a republic officer, and basically they cannot force you to have a driver's license, to have a certificate of title to the vehicle.
Is your name Tom?
No, my name is Patrick, okay? Oh, I'm the one that basically has set this group up to begin with, okay?
Okay, but let me finish saying what I was telling you. The reason why I did not give him my driver's license is because of this. Is because I told him, I says, what is your fourth article probable cause for this custodial stop? And he said to me, I don't need a fourth article probable cause. He says, you were speeding. I says, I was not speeding. I said, my driver's license is private property. I paid for it. And when you...
No, wrong, right there. You are wrong.
Well,
that is not private property. That is public property.
What do you mean?
It is public property.
Listen to me, Patrick.
No, you listen to me, okay?
Oh, okay. Well...
This is my call. If you don't want to hear what I have to say, then basically you can leave. Okay?
Thanks. Bye.
Okay. Poor guy's so damn messed up, he doesn't know whether he's coming or going. And he'll never, with that chip on his shoulder like that, he will never understand the real law out here.
Yeah.
And anybody else that has a chip on their shoulder like that never will either. Okay, you guys go ahead and talk for a while. I got to take care of my mom, and then I'll be back.
Hey, I've heard that guy before.
Thomas? Okay. Okay, this is not working. I can't hear anybody.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm here.
Yeah, it was actually interesting what Patrick had to say because, yeah, I actually thought, okay, all these documents, yes, they are in the public because they are done within the public system that they have. So you really don't own the document. You just got the privilege of using the document.
Oh yeah.
Even if you paid for it, because that's a license that you paid the license fee, but you really didn't buy the license. That's not yours. It's public license.
Yeah.
So therefore, the license does, in my presumption, and I may be wrong, the license belongs to the state. The privileges that come with it are the privileges that they allow you to use while you're doing business or commerce, unless you choose to say, well, I'm not in commerce. And if the minute you say that and you're not in commerce, then you're in the private. Then how can you actually use your elector's office if you've gone into the private, because you actually need to be, as a republic elector, to even be looked at, you have to be holding an office. So in what Patrick is saying, I actually concur that you have to give up birth certificate and everything because it is public. It's not yours. Your birth certificate does look totally different than the birth certificate that the state issued you.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a big difference. I see the difference. I actually, but maybe
I have my original birth certificate.
I don't. I wasn't given up for adoption, and came back to this country after I lost my family in Mexico, and I finally, during the past 6 years, I've been able to find that I have a birth certificate, that I was born in the United States, that I have a brother and a sister. But other than that, I should have never even claimed that birth certificate. I just did it out of arrogance. I did not know what I was doing. So when I claimed, I found out that, oh, you were born in Los Angeles, California. Oh, well, I went over there and looked. Well, is there a Pauline Alice Ashmore, which was my mother, my dad? Oh, this relates to this, so I'm going to claim it. When I claimed that birth certificate of live birth, I think that was the biggest error I committed.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said it was me. I should have never picked it up, and I would have never been known.
Yeah.
Now, there's something attached to that document, and yes, I messed up. I want out of the system, but in the position that I'm in a very precarious position to actually even get out of the system because, like I say, I'm at the end of my last legs on this one. I don't know what I'm going to do, but, you know, I've been working at finding my family and everything, and the only solution I've actually seen that is logical is Patrick's logic and his reasoning as to how we should think about make this work for us.
Yeah.
Have you listened to the phone calls?
I have not. I've had a lot of problems with bandwidth, and I'm actually homeless, living out of a van with 2 kittens and helping an autistic friend.
Yeah, you need to listen to the last 2 or 3 weeks worth of calls, so you have to get hooked up somehow, or download it at the library onto something and listen to it.
Look, it's very hard when you don't even have $1 to feed yourself. Okay, so I'm not trying to basically give you any shit, but it's hard trying to keep alive.
Yeah, I know. So you have to go overcome those burdens. You have to overcome them, and if you want to get the information.
Oh, I've been doing it for the last 4 years. Believe me, so.
No, but you got to listen to some of the last couple phone calls that he's had.
Yeah, I have. Today, about 8 or 9 o'clock, I was actually listening to the Sunday's phone call. Yesterday's. And I've only heard about 3 of them.
You got to get rid of your chip on the shoulder and just soften up a little bit. It is his call. He does have a lot to learn, to teach and share information. You don't need to argue and lock horns with him.
Oh, I'm not the one arguing and locking horns with him.
How long do these meetings last?
Normally 1 hour or more.
Okay.
But yeah,
Weren't you the person that was arguing with him on the call, or are you somebody else?
No,
I'm somebody else. My name is Ray.
Oh, okay. I thought you sounded like the same guy.
Ray brought Joe to the call because he thought he'd be interested in it, but then Joe took off.
Yeah. So
you gotta turn your speakerphone off because it's back echoing.
Yeah, Ray, you have the speakerphone on. We can hear it.
Okay, then let me see if I can find some headphones or something somewhere. Okay. Because this is getting ridiculous.
Now Ray, in spite of his condition, has been able to send off his re-entries, and he's working on trade acceptances, except that evidently there's going to be a change in the trade acceptances. So, in spite of the difficulties that he has, he's been working away at this.
Look, I'm going to say one thing. I'm on my last legs, but I'm not a goddamn quitter.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless. The wireless customer you called is not available at this time. Please try your call again later. Announcement 1. Switch 2.
Who's that? Okay.
Someone had their mic open or something.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm going through a lot of hell. I'm not a quitter. That's the last thing I am, but I'm running out of patience because I finally used all the money that my family has helped me to believed in me to get to this point. They've helped me. I'm severely disabled, okay, because basically I got osteoarthritis. For me, walking, stepping forward,
Did he get muted?
No, he didn't get muted. I think he dropped out.
Oh. Yeah, we're going to spend the whole night listening to his problems.
No, not Joe. Joe hung up when Pat shut him up.
Oh. Well, even this guy Ray, he wants to tell us all his problems.
Yeah, that is true. And I have to keep telling people the problems don't count; it's the solutions that count. You know, the problems tell you the problems you want to solve, but then you have to solve it.
He has arthritis. It's nanobacteria. He needs to kill it and clean it up. Get a bioelectrifier or something.
Well,
it only costs about $100.
Well, he doesn't have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he should go get a job at like Salvation Army or some kind of thrift store or something.
He's tried.
Yeah. Go wash some windows or something.
Well, it looks like looks like his phone dropped out.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of churches and stuff out there. They help people like that. They help people that are in worse situations than that. They help people that are like thieves and alcoholics and druggers.
Well, I should ask him about that. I talk to him every once in a while.
I'm not saying he is one, but I'm just saying they even help those kind of people too.
He's very clean.
Yeah. You sounds like you know him, Tom.
Yeah, I've been talking to him every few days for a short time, for about 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you know, we went over that. We don't need to discuss the problems, get to work and do the paperwork. So we've done a lot of paperwork.
Is he down in L.A. or something?
He's around Seattle.
Oh.
Everybody else talking besides you two?
No. The Joe left, and then Ray, who brought him in, his phone disconnected. And he's in a very tough situation. I'll tell you about it, Patrick.
No, you don't have to tell me about it. We know that a lot of people out here are in tough situations, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
the only thing is we got to keep going, and we basically say we'll try and help you when we can, if we can, okay? But otherwise, you got to be on your own for right now. Okay?
Right.
You can't help everybody until you learn to help yourself, okay?
Right.
And that's the problem with a lot of people out here. They think that they know a lot of stuff, and they try and help everybody, but they haven't helped themselves to gain the knowledge that they needed to. Everybody ought to take a break and pray to their master, to their Lord, and say, give me the damn wisdom. I don't want the riches. I want the wisdom and understanding. As soon as you start getting the wisdom and understanding, then you'll get the power, then you'll get the riches.
Mm-hmm.
But until you have the knowledge, you're not going to go anywhere. I've said this all along. You got to know how to play the game before you start playing the game. And that's the way too many of these people are out here. They think that they know the damn game, but they don't. Just like that guy with the driver's license. He thinks that that's his driver's license. No. It was his fictional person's contract, but it's not his. And when you sit down and read all of these definitions, and there's 13 pages of them, Tom, that I sent to you. So it should be on your fax there. And then also one page for the new write-up that I did for going into the treasurer.
No, I haven't received anything from you today, Patrick.
It would have just been in about the last 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. I'll check again.
Yes, I started the fax right before I came on the call.
Okay.
And it took a little while because there's about 14 pages there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to ask. And
there it is. I got it.
Ask and you will receive. You know, you have to ask for help sometimes like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ask for, like you say, understanding, wisdom.
Clarity, vision.
Yeah, even Edison and Nikola
but
Tesla
see, in
and
a
all
lot
those
of cases, they are operating under our implied actions. Like they try to make that we, and that's why you got to read these definitions. There's some tricky words in there that basically how they have deceived us in all this under usurpation and everything else. But you have to tie the words usurpation into the other words to make the picture, to paint the picture. Otherwise, you're just out there finger painting, and you got paints all over the damn place. And I forget what that one guy was that basically could do that and sell it to people and call it art. That one guy Pollock? In the 60s or 70s.
Is that Jason Pollock?
Picasso.
No, not Picasso. In the 50s.
Salvador Dali?
Well, whatever his name was there, that basically he was a weirdo out of New York or something like that, and basically he was able to call it art and basically sell it.
Yeah.
And half the damn nitwits in New York could buy anything.
Yeah, it was a blonde.
And they thought he was such a great artist. I thought most of his stuff really stunk.
Andy Warhol, you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's it. That's the guy.
That's it. Okay.
I mean, in my world, he's a loose cannon as a painter. But see, in the commercial world, anything goes. Any idiot can make a profit in the commercial world. You just got to find the right patsy to sell it to. And see, that's what they did. They found the right patsies in this country to sell their commercial contracts to. Their usury contracts. And also to use fraudulent wills in the process, claiming that we willed certain things to take place. And we never did. But they claim it, and see, unless you rebut it, it'll stand. And like I was trying to tell the guy, that driver's license is not his. He's trying to claim that's private property. He's wrong right there.
And he shouldn't
Yeah,
want it.
because if you lose it and drop it in the mailbox, they send it back to the DMV.
Yeah. And then the DMV will try and get you to take it back.
Right.
But
Social
see,
Security card, too. You can drop it in the mailbox.
You've got to stand as a Republic officer. You have to do a confession or an admission in this process. The 3 admissions, like I talked about before, okay, that are in the dictionary. You have to have all of your commercial contracts surrendered. You have to know about where this all started from. The Articles of Confederation, that's where the Republic was created. Okay? The land of America ceased to be at that point in time, and now it became the United States of America. And we became, and they set up a republic system out here. And basically that meant that the people were supposed to be the sovereigns of the republic. It was to be controlled by the people, not by the government. The Constitution set up the commercial public government out here to handle public affairs. But nowhere in there did it say that they had the power to come out and start putting laws against the ones who were the electors in the process. The elected cannot put laws upon the electors. That's like the creation going against the creator. Same scenario. But see, people don't look at the correlation of the word usage. And then like the estoppel, like I tried to explain to him. I said, just by estoppel, they have stopped you from coming into that bar court and telling the truth. They do not want to hear the truth. That's why you give the falsity back to them and say, hey, you don't want to hear the truth? Here, take your false shit back. It's only for your fiction. You're the landlord. You're recorded into the book of life, the land book, at the county records. But see, people don't realize that, and then basically you were given a gift per the Articles of Confederation by living by your will to live for 90 days. Your will, wish, and desire to live. That was your payment. If you didn't make it 90 days, you didn't get the gift. Logical sense, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right about the estoppel, or them not wanting to hear the truth. I had a lawyer try to tell me, I was telling him about the Articles of Confederation. He says, oh, they don't exist anymore. The United States of America doesn't exist anymore. I said, yeah, it does. I said, that's the table. The United States, the corporation, is just a tablecloth. I said, it doesn't hold nothing up. It's all fiction. I said, the other one's the real table.
Well, then, basically, if that's the way they really feel, say, okay, then basically, if you think that, then basically get the hell out of my damn country, because I know it's still here.
Yeah.
You're the alien. And see, what the guy didn't want to hang on there long enough for me to explain what needed to be processed. Okay? You needed to come out, you need to do your confession, your admittance in the process. And you need to identify a bunch of these deceptions and put that in. Now you put that in as coming in as a Republic officer into the Article 3 courts. See, only a Republic officer or a public officer can go into an Article 3 court. And that raises the question, why would anybody in the private be going into those courts? They never would. Because you're dealing out here in the public, and that's the only time that you're really going to be contracting. Everything else is going to be by handshake. Your honor in the back room. And you have the power to forgive. If you walk around with a damn chip on your shoulder, you'll never learn to live. I mean, how many people have gone to a damn carny and know that they've been taken, but they don't go and break out their guns and go back and shoot the damn carny up? They don't hold a grudge. They don't try and take the carny guy to court or anything like that. They just write it off as a bad mistake that they made. And get on with their life. When you're an officer, a Republic officer, and you reject all of this commercialism contracts, you don't need a driver's license. You don't need a registration on your vehicle, because now, as a Republic officer, you have direct access by way of your state treasurer to the Republic Treasury. You're an officer. You submit your warrant into the treasurer. I sent Tom one of the receipt warrants that I sent in today to the state treasurer. I was trying 2 weeks ago to go to the Federal Reserve. I tried to go to just about every other place out there, but in most of those cases, when I was doing that, we were not coming in as the officer, as the office. We were coming in the private. And like I explained, the $300 penalty envelope is because we are using our private name in our correspondence. That's what they're telling us with that $300 penalty. Stop using your private name. Start using your office. And we won't penalize you anymore. Frivolous filings. The frivolous filings are only against a privateer, one who is trying to operate in the private, while they're dealing in the public realm. It's all making the sense right now. And then when you go in and look up the definitions of what private and republic mean, trying to find one item here that basically in one of the definitions called out so many of them. Talked about the Constitution, okay, and in there it talked about Section 4, Article 4, I think it was. Let's see, where in the hell is that? And then when you see what the word's talking about, Yeah, I'm going to read a couple here for you. Implication. Something implied. The evident consequence of, or some necessary consequence resulting from the law or the words of an instrument in the construction of which the words, the subject, the context, the intention of the person using them are all to be taken into view. And see, unless you put the words into the right construction of your subject matter or your instrument, basically they're not going to have the weight that you think they have. Implied, accepted as that which was intended, although not stated expressly. Implied repeal, the suspension of a rule of the common law without an express directive to that effect, as by abolition of a statute dealing comprehensive with the subject to which the common law rule relates. The repeal of a statute by a later statute in the absence of an expressed repeal by a later statute. See, you've got to go through these words and see what they're coming up with, and then you can come back and start contemplating. A non-captive will, N-U-N-C-U-P-A-T-I-V, will. A will declared orally by the testator before witnesses, but dependent for validity under some statutes upon being reduced to writing or subscribed by witnesses after the speaking of the testimonial words. Under the English statute of frauds and similar statutes in this country, except in the case of a soldier or seaman, the general rule is that a valid non-captive will can be made only when the testator is in his last illness. Well, basically, they come in and they say that you are in your last illness. So when you have willed something, and you've got to understand what the word will and wish mean, that they can imply a will or a trust. By trickery, by using these commercial contracts. The wording, you never read all of the contracts out here. I mean, if you read the damn insurance contracts or some of these bank contracts, you would be sitting there for about 2 weeks going through the dictionary to look at all the different words before you ever sign that contract. Public, belonging to the entire community, unrestricted in participation, the people, the populace of the community, that vast multitude which includes the ignorant, the unthinking, the who in making purchases do not stop to analyze, but are governed by appearance and general impressions. Sounds like the whole damn country to me. But it is conceded that the public does not mean all the people in the state or in any county or town, because those people have woken up. Republic, form of government, a government constructed on the principle that the supreme power resides in the body of the people. Within the meaning of the provision of Section 4 of Article 4 of the Constitution, that the United States shall guarantee to every state in the Union a republican form of government. That hasn't been taken away. You have to come forward and put the power in there. A public officer, an incumbent of a public office, vested with certain powers. A republication. Okay? Read that one. Reversionary, I've covered that one already. Scheme to defraud. Shifting the burden of proof. What did Jesus do? He shifted the burden of proof back to them. Who do you say I am? Subversion. Okay? And subversive. One who seeks to undermine and overthrow established authority of the government. An organization that teaches and advocates the overthrow of the government by force or violence. And see, if you're a privateer, you are advocating the overthrow of the public government. You have to stand in your republic office, standing over the public offices. But it is still in the public realm. Usurpation, the unlawful assumption of the use of property which belongs to another. Usurpation of office, the unjustly intruding upon or exercising any office, franchise, liberty belonging to another. They have come in and tried to take our office away from us. So, yeah, when you get those words posted up there, go with those.
Patrick, I've posted it up there. I simply call the file Fax 28 right now. It's up there. I will clean it up, remove the headers, and make it searchable later. But it's up there right now for people to download, and there's been a message go out from the group for it.
Start studying. And then basically the other was my Iowa Republic officers, Republic Treasury, depositary, deposit, warrant, due on site. And it's a deposit. Take a look, go down to the bank and pick up a deposit slip and pick up a withdrawal slip. That's what you need. You write the checks down. You're going to deposit these receipts in the system. If they want the actual receipt, but you can keep those in your office file. You just send them the voucher or the invoice, the total invoice, and send it in, and basically you hold on to the others until they ask for them. If they want them, then you'll give them to them. And just like a deposit slip at the bank, you list all the checks, you total them up, and then how much cash do you want? If you want it all back in cash, you put it, the cash value there, and then total to be deposited, 0. Pretty simple. Now, the deposit warrant per incumbent office account number, that would be your certificate of live birth number, because that's your Republic Treasury individual account number. And see, all of these state treasurers, they can go in and basically they know that, let me see, 114 belongs to the Southern District of Iowa. For my DD-214, they know that 130 belongs to the Southern District of Iowa, or just to Iowa itself. All the state treasurers have access to the Republic Treasury Depository, along with the United States Treasurer. So there's 51 treasurers out there that can access that Republic Treasury for us. Now, you come in as an officer and you're putting your voucher in as an officer, just like the police officer. He works for the public corporation. You're working for the Republic. And you put your claim in. We don't need a DD or a 1099 OID or anything like that. That is for the commercial public world, the usury side. We're on the Republic side. And there is no tax forms for the Republic side. The taxing issues are only for the public and the commercial side. Yes, there's a lot of people in prison because of ignorance. And they've been misled by a lot of people in the patriot community. And I was looking at one guy, one pamphlet that basically that has the Constitution in it, Patriot's Handbook. Looked on the back of it, and basically to try and find out where to send this to. Well, hell, the damn thing is a 501c3 corporation.
On the phone.
No, hell of a patriot.
Don't be clicking over.
See, people, you need to open your eyes and stop. When something sounds too damn good, okay, and I've tried to tell you guys to check me out, okay, sort of like Ronald Reagan. Verify everything, okay, validate and verify. But in your validation, you do not go into the commercial law system to try and validate what I'm trying to do outside of the commercial system. You don't go into the codes and all that, because what I'm talking about is the truth, and the truth ain't going to be in the codes. Just like I tried to point out there, that basically in an estoppel, basically they have barred you from telling the truth in court. They only want you to be guilty, and that's it. And they will try every trick in the book to get you into that position. And the longer you stay in there and argue with them, you're going to go to jail. So you come in and you surrender the item that's in confrontation back to them and say, here, you've got it back. I don't want it. I never got a damn benefit from it to begin with. You take it. I'm under no obligation to keep that damn thing. I have free will, free choice to basically say, enough is enough. I'm not playing your game anymore. That's what you people have to wake up and start doing. If you're not a good gambler, then you've got to stop gambling. If you can't hold your alcohol, then you've got to stop drinking. You've got to know when you have to stop. Because otherwise, you're just destroying yourself. Okay, any questions?
I don't have any based on that, Patrick. I got to go dig into your document.
Basically, you could take that same sort of setup that I did with the receipt, okay, with the receipts, putting that in as a deposit warrant, and see, everything that goes to the treasurers has to be in a warrant form.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So we're going to do a withdrawal warrant. If you take your certificate of live birth and pretty much what I had there before for the template on the back of that, or on the DD-214, and modify it for what I have with this receipt or this deposit warrant for the headers of who it's going to, and then basically your fictional person is basically the drawer, and you're the drawee as the Republic office elector. And you, as Mr. Tom or whatever, are the incumbent of that office. The CO, the care of, goes in front of our name. Not in front of our address. The address is fixed. But it will in care of us, the incumbent. That's who the office is in care of. We're in care of that office. We're supposed to be taking care of it anyway. Just like the Secretary of Treasury. we send to his attention that he is really the caretaker of that office. He's the incumbent. But you need to get in, and I'm still working on this court item, but we've surrendered these items numerous times over. And see, once you get your office established, and see, you also have to have, in the process, office found, and then also it's in there about, let's see, what the hell was it? Inquest of office. An inquiry by a jury before a sheriff, coroner, its chancellor, or other government officer, or by commissioners specifically appointed, concerning any matter that entitled the sovereign to the possession of lands or testament, goods, chattels, by reason of an achievement, forfeiture, idacy, or the like. So that's what this is going to be, is an inquest of office when I send this in. But I'm coming in that I have found the office. Okay?
Those words are like artwork.
Yeah, and that's why you've got to look over these words and put them together.
So couldn't we simply say, like, we found the office of the California Republic, or we found we're in the office of we the people?
You need to put the words, like I said before. Mm-hmm. You have to put the words into the proper implication, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Something implied.
Right.
Okay? Or words of an instrument, in the construction of which the words, the subject or context, the intention of the person using them are all taken into view.
That's how they do it to us. Sounds like music to me.
Well, yeah, and see, we've got to come in and put our truth down in hard facts, but we have to have the supporting words built up around them so that they cannot tear the thing down.
Right.
They have a house of cards. We can tear theirs down when you understand what the words are saying, because they are a house of cards. They're all totally in fraud.
So it doesn't really matter that they keep changing the meaning of the words.
Well,
we imply what the words mean to us, right?
Dictionaries, and basically some of these dictionaries haven't changed. Anderson's Law Dictionary, Valentine's Law Dictionary, basically they're pretty rigid. Now, Black's Law, basically in the revisions, they've been dropping some of the words out, but they haven't taken the definitions away. So if you go back to the first Black's Law and use that one, that still stands as a valid definition.
And we should refer to the dictionary and the words that we're implying, so that they can't refer to a different dictionary and use their own, understanding.
If they don't understand it, and see, that's when you have to come in as the office, the Republic officer. Now, your words stand.
Right.
Okay? They can't go construing anything different, because you're speaking now as the sovereign. The Republic office is the sovereign of the nation. The sovereignty rested with the people. And that means that when you are an elector or you are a U.S. Republic office agent, which all women would be, you're agents of that office, and you have basically the same standing and the same protections as a Republic officer.
Right.
I don't know why people want to try and fight this thing and make it more damn complicated than what it really should have been. And that's the way a lot of this stuff, I mean, it was ridiculous to see all the different garbage and listen to all these other people out here that are going off in this tangent saying that the Church of Rome has the right to control everything? Where in the hell is that in the damn Bible? It's nowhere. It's just like the pharaohs. Did they have a right to control everything? No. Moses proved that. All of their house of cards have fallen. Babylon, okay? Nebuchadnezzar, all the different, the Assyrians, when they used the commercial banking system. Israel, basically when they were using the commercial system. They all fell. Because the commercial system is a total fraud-based system. It's built on sand. It has no real substance to it. And it can only exist as long as you continue to give it substance. So when you stop giving it substance, it sinks. Because they can't come in and get to the treasury.
But through us.
Except through us if we allow them to have it. And even then, there are too many buffers there that the real government is protecting that from them attacking that.
Right.
Yeah, basically, if they hadn't set up this system in 1933 at the rate that things were going, the bankers would have taken everything out of the treasury because the people are that damn dumb. And the bankers knew that, and they would have hoodwinked the people into surrendering everything out of the treasury to them. But see, we can't access that treasury if we're in the private. So all those documents and everything else that we were sending out to the treasury in the name of in the private, they didn't go anywhere. Just like the stuff I sent to the Federal Reserve Bank couple weeks ago. I didn't have it come in from my office, my Republic office, so it didn't go nowhere. They need to have the officer of that account give permission. And it wasn't the officer, it was a pirate, a privateer that was trying to access that. The proof will be in the pudding tomorrow morning when those 5 items that I sent up to Treasurer. I sent 3 postal receipt Excel files there as deposit warrants, and then this one for Dollar General that I had. I've got more that I've got put together and send them out.
I got like 14 from the week before last.
Yeah, and then basically your utility bills, the same thing. They're not going to get set off unless you come in as the Republic officer, because, see, that utility bill is coming from a public corporation, and they're not going to set it off for a private individual, for a pirate. They can only deal with a public.
With the fiction. Yeah.
A public officer.
Right. That makes perfect sense.
Too damn much sense. I mean, what were these people 20, 40 years ago that basically have been beating this thing to death? But the problem was most of those people got into a rut, and they just kept spinning their wheels in the rut. And you're never going to get unstuck if you just keep spinning your wheels.
Yeah, it's just that everybody's getting all this information shoved in their face from all these different places. They're just trying to make money, these people, you know what I mean? So they're just telling you whatever. They do 5 minutes worth of research and try to sell you some idea that is going to get your ass locked up in somebody's jail.
Yeah. But see, I mean, this goes, when I saw that today on that one word definition, and then I said, oh, shit. Yeah, admission is a confession. Mm-hmm. And see, that's right in the Bible. You got to confess.
Yep.
Before you can free yourself.
Was just nicely saying the jig is up.
Yeah.
But I'll admit my part in it.
Yeah. I admit that I was deceived, and I'm no longer going to be deceived. And basically, I will make any restitutions that I need in my penance.
Good deal.
Yeah.
So there's a copy that we can access now, right, Tom?
Yes, it's up there. You in the Yahoo group. It's an announcement for the file, fax 28.
Okay. All right.
I'll clean it up. I'll straighten it out. I need to rotate the first page by 90 degrees to make it more readable.
Well, that was the fax. Okay, that wasn't for the words. That was for
the warrant. But I think
that was for the warrant. Okay.
Yeah, that's for the warrant. I can rotate the warrant and still fit on the page.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Just leave it the way it is. I mean, what the hell's wrong with it the way it is?
Well, it's the way it is right now.
Print it out that way. Okay.
It's the way it is.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
a PDF. I could just scan it or copy and paste it.
Yeah, and basically then you could just sort of, go down to the bank and get a deposit slip and take a look at it. It's
you can print them offline
thing.
too from the bank. You can print blank ones right offline from the bank.
Yeah, and basically the same thing for a withdrawal receipt. Okay, withdrawal slip, and basically that's what we're doing when we put that onto the back of the DD-214 or on the back of the certificate of live birth. You get one of those instruments, and then you put this on the back, and you turn that into a warrant. That's what I needed to do 6 years ago when I went up and saw the treasurer of the state. If I would have had that, I wouldn't be talking to you guys now.
Be sipping out of a coconut right now.
Yeah, I probably have a hair them somewhere. I probably wouldn't be alive. That's probably what the truth is. But see, in a lot of this stuff, I mean, hell, today I even got a damn notice on my 5 traffic tickets that I haven't paid yet, and I tried everything under the sun to pay them. Well, I surrendered the damn licenses and the certificate, and they confiscated the damn thing, so I'm going to write a damn letter up from my Republic office and send this directly to the Attorney General and tell him that basically out of his charitable trust, he better get this thing resolved. Otherwise, I'm going to take his damn ass to court. And I will file charges against him with the FBI. Because, see, now the FBI can work with us because we have an office. And, see, they can only deal with an office-to-office, a public office-to-public office problem. They're not going to handle anything that's from the private to the public out here.
Right. It's the same two-way street because they can't work with you in a positive way in the private, and they can't work with you in a negative way in the private.
Right. Well, they can basically, if you're going out there and you're charging, doing harm, and see, that's when the attorney comes
but
in,
they're still charging the fiction
because they're going after the alien, and you have done an alienation, and see, you've alienated yourself from the Republic,
right,
from your real sovereign office. That's the alienation that you've done. So you are in conflict, and basically now you are an enemy of the state in that regard because you are running against the grain. And see, all these patriots, they want it to be, well, I'm going to be off on my own. I'm going to, And basically that's what the Indians tried to do too. They weren't going to comply with everything. And then they had to be put on reservation to keep them in line. Because they did not know how to be...
They didn't know the words. They didn't know the words.
Yeah, they didn't understand the words that were set up there. And basically it was a lot out of the Cherokee Nation. But see, the Cherokee Nation and the Celtics and everything else, because the Celtic language is basically the foundation for the Cherokee language, the Druids and everything else were the foundation, and basically the Roman law was the foundation for the Cherokee setup in this country way before the white man got here. Well, the white man was already here, coming out of Scotland and Ireland years before, all the way back to the last legion out of Rome. Basically, they came over here. That's why the Roman law was over here.
It's not too far off now.
But see, it was a Roman republic. A republic. And see, they were going to the democracy or the dulocracy of letting the damn public, slaves, servants, control everything. Just like what we're in right now. We're in a dulocracy. Not a democracy, a dulocracy. I hope that guy gets off his high horse on his damn driver's license and comes back in, maybe listens to this and gets a little knowledge out of this.
I think he might, Patrick.
We were all duped at one point or another.
Okay. Any other questions or anything?
Not me.
Okay. Well, we'll talk to you guys later. Take care.
Okay. Thank you
Thanks,
very much,
Patrick.
Patrick. Just lots to work on. Thank you.
Okay. Good night.
Yeah. Thanks.